I've coached thousands of students to unlock their academic potential, but let me tell you, I wasn't always an expert. At 16, I was a failing student, barely surviving my first year of university, and I thought that studying was cramming and then hoping for the best the next day. Spoiler alert, it didn't work. So how did I go from being a student drowning in stress and self-doubt to becoming a straight A student and mentor to 1,000? This video is going to be your cheat sheet to success. I will share with you how I discovered life-changing study techniques, developed a mindset that left self-doubt behind, and proved that intelligence alone isn't everything. Plus, I will share with you the secrets to balance studies, sports, and a social life without burning out. Let's go back to when I was 16. I barely passed high school and I was actually a bit scared to start my bachelor's in sports science. What was the biggest problem? I didn't know how to learn effectively and efficiently, and my courses weren't really beginner friendly. Anatomy, physiology, behavioral science, these were very tough and I would say very intimidating. I was the youngest student in my class, barely equipped for university level challenges. My study counselor wasn't helpful at all and the pressure was crushing. It was increasing over and over. Failing courses became my norm and every time I failed, it would crush my confidence. I remember one specific day that I had to retake an exam in the morning and immediately afterwards, I had to sprint to a qualification process of another university. The stress of that day was simply unbearable, the time pressure on my exam. I was failing academically, emotionally drained, and honestly, I started wondering if I just should quit. But here's the thing, I didn't quit. Something deep inside of me wanted to fight because I loved my field and the behavioral science courses. I absolutely dreamed of learning how to become a better coach and teacher to others. But I knew that the way that I was studying wasn't working. If I didn't change these study methods, I am sure that I was going to fail again and again and again. That realization marked the beginning of my personal transformation. Change wasn't easy at all. Classmates doubted me. Honestly, I doubted myself. My teachers and my study counselors, they weren't sure if this study was going to suit me and if I were going to make all these retakes. It wasn't just external pressure. It was also that voice inside of my head that kept asking, are you smart enough for this? Are you capable of doing this? But eventually things escalated quickly when I decided to pursue a master's degree in a field completely different from my bachelor's. People around me started to ask me, what's your background? Like, are you smart enough to do this? Are you capable of doing this? But to be honest, I didn't let their doubts define me. Actually, I started to use them as fuel and try to prove them wrong. On the inside, I struggled with self-doubt and imposter syndrome. I was constantly battling the fear of failure and the frustration of the setbacks that I encountered. For example, I worked on my thesis for 6 months only to fail despite following my supervisor's guidance. He just kept saying, you're on the right track, you're doing the right things. And then the second supervisor absolutely demolished my thesis. It was one of the most disheartening moments of my journey. Outside of academics, life didn't slow down either. A painful breakup distracted me from my studies and I had to learn how to stay focused while dealing with these emotions. It felt like every step forward came with new challenges to push me back. The transformation began when I stopped to see failure as the end. I started to experiment with new strategies. I ditched passive learning methods like rereading and highlighting notes, and I started to embrace active recalling methods and active learning methods. Some of these active learning methods are testing yourself, teaching others, and everything that includes actively recalling information. I also started to incorporate spaced repetition, which is a method that helps you retain information by reviewing it at certain intervals. But it wasn't only about the way I studied, it was also about the way how I lived. I learned to manage my time more efficiently and effectively. That way I can start to balance studies, self-care, and social activities. Sports and exercise become non-negotiable because I figured out that they didn't just keep me healthy, They were an accelerator for better learning. Over time, the changes that I made started to pay off. I went from failing my classes to passing. And eventually I even got a scholarship and got accepted into a private business university in the Netherlands. And here's the most rewarding part. I started to give back. I started to become a mentor. I host online events, and actually I can help students like you with methods that have helped me to overcome all of these challenges. These students, they are just like me 9 years ago, feeling overwhelmed, doubting themselves, and not knowing where to start. And the emotions that I felt during my transformation are hard to describe. I literally went from stressed and self-doubt to overcoming all of that and boosting my confidence and feeling pride. I eventually discovered that I'm capable of so much more than I ever imagined. If you're watching this and you're feeling stuck, I want you to know that success isn't about intelligence. It's about persistence and having the right mindset. Science actually proves that when you have a growth mindset, believing that you can improve with effort, it is more important than raw talent or intelligence. And trust me, don't be afraid to ask for help. I had great mentors and coaches over time, but they didn't come to me and say, Tom, I will help you. I had to reach out to them. I had to be vulnerable and ask them and say to them, I need guidance. Can you help me? And you can do the same. Because your failures don't define you, they shape you. And if my story resonates with you, take the first step towards your personal transformation. Whether it's trying a new learning method, balancing your life with time management, or simply believing in yourself, just start today. So if you found this video helpful, then make sure to share this also with someone who needs to hear this. Like, subscribe, and follow me on Instagram @TheStudyCoach and join over thousands of students that we are teaching scientifically proven learning, time management methods, and mindset skills. Let me know in the comments below what you're struggling with, and I'm here to help. Success isn't about where you start, it's about where you decide to go. So let's make that happen and take action today.